Google VO3 is definitely the most advanced video generating artificial intelligence in the world. Right here on the channel, we've already shown several tests. People walking on the street, cars crashing, Formula One cars, people in space, and even daily vlogs. But we still haven't tested it with animations. Could Google VO3 replace Pixar, Disney, or Studio Ghibli? That's what we're going to talk about in today's video. But first, leave a comment below. Do you already use any artificial intelligence to generate videos? Also, do you already use any artificial intelligence to make money, to monetize, or to improve your life? If so, write the name of the artificial intelligence and what you use it for, okay? Let's go straight to my computer screen. I brought in an American animation specialist. At the end of the video, I'll leave the link to his channel in the description so you can subscribe, okay? So let's get right to it. 3, 2, 1, go.
I wanted to test it now to see how well it performs with stylized animation. So I'm going to test it with these 2D animation categories and also these 3D animation categories. And let's
take a look here. Look, we have styles here, okay? Both 2D and 3D. And look, anime style, comic book style, which back in my day we called Ghibli, right? People over 40, right? Motion graphics, cool, and for 3D we have the most famous ones. Look, Disney, Pixar, Illumination, which is the one behind the Minions, and also made the Mario Bros movie. Wonderful. And game style. How cool is that? Video game style. Well, let's get to it then.
Let's see how well it does with them. So I'm gonna start by playing a parody trailer I made just to show some of the good results, and then we'll go ahead and analyze them individually. Adventure lives in your imagination. This is my brand. I was born to sing. I'm going to win this race at the speed of light.
Well, this here is total plagiarism, right? From the movie Cars, from Disney, from Pixar, right? But it's amazing.
Wow! Sorry about that. Don't worry, buddy. I came all the way here because I had to believe.
Well, I already spotted the problem of two copyright issues there, right? With Mickey and the Simpsons, but let's keep going, right?
It was completely accidental. Why? I'm not here to play around. I'm here to take them down. Hey, check the microphone. 1, 2. This is not a zoo to catch me yet. You'll never catch me alive. I came here in search of answers. You know what, X? This view makes all our adventures worth it.
Wow, guys. And I also freaked out about that comic book over there, right? Where he put Daredevil. So you can take a comic book and make it like come alive, right? Bring comics to life. Look how amazing that is. The only problem is that some companies, if you're just playing around and all, they might let it slide. But if you start monetizing it, the lawyers show up. So you have to create new things, right? Here, look.
Let's start first with the classic old-school hand-drawn animation, similar to what you'd see from Disney, Mickey Mouse, and some of those old cartoons. And here's the prompt I gave her. And let's see what she created. Wow, sorry about that. Haha, don't worry, buddy. To my surprise, this actually worked better than I expected.
Look how cool that is. So it's Mickey, a parody of Mickey and a parody of Pluto, right?
If you look at the character design, the fluidity of the animations, even the physics of the powder spilling there, and even the vocals it generated, it all matched the aesthetic of that era really well. And I think most importantly, we didn't have so many artifacts, so there's no transformation or weirdness happening with the characters.
What's the main difference for someone watching this video for the first time and getting to know Google VO3? It's that besides the video, it generates the dialogues and it generates all the sound effects. So for example, when someone goes there and rings a bell, it's going to make the sound of the bell. If they're walking down the street, you hear the sound of their footsteps. Then you have the sound of cars, of traffic. If a car honks, it shows up too. And you put all of this in the prompt. And if suddenly you want to add a guy swearing in traffic, you put it in quotes and specify that the man in the car will roll down the window and say something, and it will generate the dialogue and the lip sync. In the past, you had to make the video in one AI, the dialogues in another AI, the lip sync in yet another AI, and the sound effects in a different AI, and then use an editing program to put it all together. In other words, at least 5 different artificial intelligences that you now do with just one. Just look at how powerful that is. But let's keep going here.
With most of the AI video models I test, when it comes to 2D animations, they struggle with a lot of artifacts, where the character's hands morph, or the mouth, or different parts of the character change shape. So this is pretty impressive. Let's see another example. No fish today. Maybe they're on vacation. And again, just like the first one, it did very well with this one. This one has nonsensical text. We'll talk about this text a little later in the video. And there's a bit of transformation if you look at the cat's mouth, but not much. I was quite impressed with this category. Let's check out the next category. For the next category, I wanted to test things like its sketch animations. So if you think of Ed, and Eddie, Ed, and Eddie, if you've ever watched Cartoon Network, that style of animation. So, and I gave a hint here, and this is what happened. This is the best trampoline ever invented. So right away, I can already see a bit of that transformation. So let's go back a bit. So
very cool that it adds the little speech bubble, right? Like as if it were a comic book. That's really cool. I can take a comic book at home, of course, make some adaptations so it's not plagiarism, right? In fact, what can I do? I can take a comic, take a picture, send it to Gemini, right? From Google or even ChatGPT, and ask it to describe the page. And from there, I make some adaptations, right? To create a new character, and then I take it to Google V3 to make the animation. It could be an animation that goes from text to video using the description, or I could take an image, right? Created by an image AI, which could also be from Google, using Imagen 4, which is the most advanced, or Imagen 3, or I can generate the image right there, either within the chat, the ChatGPT chat itself, or even in Sora, which also generates images, is from OpenAI, and is also integrated into the ChatGPT ecosystem. Let's continue here.
If you look at the character, it's not very solid. The mouth transforms there. A bit of the character changes, so this one isn't that good. The sound design works well, but not that well. Let's try one more example and see if it does better.
Wait, you actually did that?
What? It seemed like a good idea at the time. Alright, same thing here. We see a lot of transformations with this character. You can see the artifact, so it looks like it's having trouble with that. I'm not too surprised, because there isn't much training data for this type of animation. That could be why, but I'm not sure. But it doesn't do very well with these sketch-style animations. Let's move on to the next category. Alright, next, I wanted to try anime-style animations. I really love this kind of animation. Let's see how well it can do.
Comment below if you like Knights of the Zodiac, which is from my time. But let's go, right? It's still around, huh? The new stuff isn't as good as it used to be, but we'll get there, right? People who like Knights of the Zodiac are fans who really suffer.
Today I'm going to give you a final lesson.
Let's see.
I gave it a detailed prompt. It was supposed to do a really impressive sword move. It didn't really follow this prompt. So I don't think we can even test much for morphine, because again, there's no such movement in these characters. But overall, the aesthetic matches. So let's take a look at another example. A prompt similar to the one I used in my previous video. Fire and ice. You'll melt before you even land a hit. Let's see. and once again, not that great. So, I asked for a camera movement, an arc movement. I couldn't do that with this. It works well with live action videos, these camera movements, but again, it's not very good in anime style. Just for comparison, this is what I managed to turn from an image into a video using a clean AI. This one is much better. So,
Yeah, in this case, just so you all understand, he used Kling and also used Sora, right? Yeah, their competitor Sora is from OpenAI and ChatGPT, and Kling is a new one. There's also Hilumini Max, which is really good too.
live, these camera movements. But again, it's not very good in anime style. Just for comparison, this is what I managed to turn from an image into a video using a clean AI. This one is much better. So it seems like it definitely still struggles with anime style categories to this day. Alright, let's try 2 more categories and then move on to 3 of I wanted to see how it does with comic book style animation, because that's a very distinct animation style. And here's a prompt I gave, so let's see how it turns out. Justice prevails. So,
Oh, and I'll even say before he does, it turned out really good.
the aesthetic is great. You can see the bold outlines, the overall look. The textures definitely feel like comic books. And it really stuck to the prompt for this one. The only problem I see, and I've had this happen several times, I've tried various different examples, is the lip sync. For some reason, in this comic book style, it's not possible to make the mouth move. As you can see, he's talking. But again, there's no mouth movement. Now, I tried a prompt where I kind of changed the character's appearance to look a bit more like a live action human. And this is what it looks like. I'm not here to play around. I'm here to take them down right now. This finally fixed the lip sync issue. It managed to synchronize the lips. Other than that, the aesthetics of these are very good. I really love the look. It's really nailing it with these here, except for the gory lip sync issue. So now I hope it does really well in this category. This is your modern animation for the web. So, your vector style animations, flat 2D graphics. So, let's see how well it can do this. And that was a girl sitting on the roof. And then she says, "This is a perfect day to be outside." It's a perfect day to be outside. Very clean. The synchronization.
I can see someone using this to make money with educational animations for schools, for books, right? You could take a book that already exists today and make an animated version of it and sell it. Wow. You could make a lot of money with this.
Lip sync is also very clean. So there are no difficulties at all with this category. I tried a few more examples. You would get your best animations in this category. Finally, as we move out of this 2D category, I wanted to test it with motion graphics style animations, like explainer videos. And let's look at an example here. Follow these simple steps for 20 seconds to effectively eliminate harmful bacteria. So again, aside from the gibberish text, this is very decent with a sound effect even.
Wow, you could sell this. I have clients who are dentists, you know? There are dental clinics too, doctors as well, physical therapists, people in the healthcare field, and also lawyers. So you can definitely sell this. Let's take, for example, a dental clinic, right? Dentists, oral hygiene, for instance, or post-operative care. Maybe someone is getting braces and needs to know best practices and all that. In other words, we're still going to get to 3D here, but just in this first 2D part, you can make a lot of money as long as you use the right artificial intelligences. And the hardest part is figuring out how to see this as a business and learning how to attract clients. Let's keep going here.
The sound effect that plays when the little objects appear. I really love this. It really nailed it, but I would just avoid text. It's not very good with text so far. So I tried another one without text, and let's see how it turns out. Hi, I'm Benny, and I'm a medical student. Pretty accurate with the lip sync, with the sound, effects, and with the animations, the way they appear and disappear.
So you see that in comics, the lip sync doesn't look good. If it's a more realistic comic, it works. Now, that educational vector style works well. The lip sync, right? Interesting.
So overall, it seems to do well with old hand-drawn animations in the traditional style. So your modern vector style animations are doing really well with this. When you start getting into specialized animations, like anime, I tried Studio Ghibli, watercolor animations, and so on. It has some difficulties. There may be some artifacts here, lip sync issues and things like that, but overall it's quite solid for explainer videos. Although it performs very well, I would advise that if you want to make this kind of video, it's probably better to use traditional software like Create Studio. They just give you much more character consistency and it's much cheaper to use them, because you can pay just once for them or a small monthly fee and have unlimited generations, so you save credits that way. I have several videos on Create Studio. I'll put a link to them in the description, you can check them out.
Guys, so this video doesn't get too long. I'm leaving here, look, for you to continue with me. Part 2, where we're going to talk about Google Video 3 applied to 3D animations. I'm going to release it on the same day, okay? So you can keep going right here. So click here to continue with me, all right?